At the very onset, I would like to welcome to my class of today. I am Dr. Abhijit Majumdar, Professor and Director of Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, Pharmacy Institute. And I am going to teach you the subject of pharmaceutical microbiology, which is there in the curriculum of B.Pharm third semester of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University. Now, before I start my today's topic, let me have a bit of recapitulation what we have studied in the past. In the past, we have studied about the major scope of this particular subject in pharmaceutical industry as well as the healthcare industry like hospitals. And we have studied about the bacteria, the fungi, the protozoa, the algae, the virus, and the role they play in our life. And then we have studied about what sterilization is, what disinfection is, what antiseptic is, and their importance in pharmaceutical industry. Sterilization, if we recollect, was a process by which we were either killing or removing all the microorganisms from the system. On the other hand, there were two terminologies which were very closely linked with each other. One was antiseptic and the other one was disinfectant. Antiseptic, a terminology which we use commonly for substances which are acting on the living cells, and disinfectant on the other hand were referring to those substances which were mainly acting on the inanimate objects or non-living objects. So, antiseptics were mainly acting on the living cells and disinfectant were mainly acting on the non-living cells. Now, before I go into the deep, let me just give you the, as we know that today we are on the boarding of this outcome based education. So, what will be the outcome of my today's lecture? Now, the outcome of my today's lecture will be, I will be discussing about the ways by which we are in a position to evaluate the quality of a disinfectant. Therefore, you will be in a position to play a role in the quality control section. As I have told you that this subject will help you to cater to the quality control division of the pharmaceutical industry. Now, in my today's class, we will be discussing about how to evaluate the quality of a disinfectant. Now, question is, why are we so much interested to evaluate the quality of a disinfectant? The major reason behind this is we are using this disinfectant in various areas. Various areas means we are using the disinfectant to clean, to remove the microorganisms from the floor of the pharmaceutical industries where aseptic preparations are being carried out. We are using this disinfectant mainly in the hospitals also. Particularly, it finds wide applications when we are applying in operation theatre or intensive care unit, where patients are admitted due to certain illness, where patients are admitted when their immunity is low. Now, as because they are being applied in the critical areas in the hospitals as well as in the pharmaceutical industries, therefore, one must be very alert about the quality of those substances. In fact, that is the reason why we have to evaluate the quality of any disinfectant before we are recommending its application in hospitals as well as in industry. Now, I have given you various examples of disinfectants as well as various antiseptics in the previous classes. Now, it has been seen that there are a large number of disinfectants which loses its potency while standing. Sometimes the active ingredient get volatilized away, sometimes it loses its capacity to inhibit the microorganisms. There are instances where in the environment, due to the presence of organic matter, this disinfectant reacts partially with this organic matter and loses their potency. That is, many disinfectants have been found to lose their efficacy whenever there is a presence of organic matter. Therefore, it clearly indicates that whenever we are using a disinfectant, we should consider these parameters into concern. That is, all these points needs to be taken care of whenever we are evaluating the quality of a disinfectant. And that is the reason why evaluation of disinfectant is a must as of today. Now, there are two tests which are widely used in the industry to evaluate the quality of disinfectant. One is commonly known as Riedel-Wacker test and the other one is commonly known as Chick-Martin test. So, Riedel-Wacker test and Chick-Martin test, they are widely used in the industries to evaluate the quality or potency of a disinfectant. And this Riedel-Wacker test, whenever we are evaluating the quality of a disinfectant, we are measuring a coefficient. That coefficient is known as phenol coefficient. Why it is known as phenol coefficient? It is known as phenol coefficient because we are taking phenol as the standard, and in comparison with phenol as the standard, we are estimating the capacity of the sample of disinfectant which we want to test. That is, the inhibitory property of the sample. Let us say the sample as X. We are evaluating the inhibitory capacity of the sample with respect to that of phenol. And that is the reason why the value which we are getting, that is known as phenol coefficient or Riedel-Wacker coefficient. These two terminologies are exactly same. Riedel-Wacker coefficient and phenol coefficient, they are exactly same. Now, let me explain how to carry out this Riedel-Wacker coefficient test or phenol coefficient test. Now, what we do is, we are taking a set of 20 test tubes initially. We are taking a set of 20 test tubes initially, and all these test tubes needs to be sterilized. And in these top 10 test tubes, in each of the test tubes we have to add a varying dilution of the disinfectant which you want to evaluate. I am repeating once again. We are taking 20 test tubes, and out of these 20 test tubes, we have to take 10 test tubes, and in each of the 10 test tubes, we will be adding varying dilution of the disinfectant which you want to test. 5 ml in each test tube. Say for example, here we are marking it as A, the second test tube marked as B, the third one marked as C, fourth one as D, and likewise we are going till J. That is 10 test tubes we have taken, and in each of the test tubes we have added 5 ml of disinfectants, but their concentration is changing. The concentration of the disinfectant in test tube A is different from the concentration in B, which is in turn different from concentration in C, D, and so on. And then we have to add to the first test tube 0.5 ml of microorganism which has been inoculated 1 day early, that is 18 to 24 hours grown culture of the microorganism. Out of that we have to add 0.5 ml in this test tube number 1. Say for example, you are carrying out the experiment today and you have to inoculate a media containing the microorganism 1 day early, that is within a period of 18 to 24 hours the microorganism should grow. Question is, why are we using a microorganism for 18 to 24 hours? The reason behind this is the organism, as I have told you earlier, that there are 4 phases of bacterial growth. One is lag phase, second one is log phase, third one is stationary phase, and last one is the stage of decline. We are adding an 18 to 24 hours grown culture because the organism must be in the logarithmic phase, and it is in the logarithmic phase that the organisms are extremely active. That is the reason why we have to add 18 to 24 hours grown organism, and we take 2 of the organism, either it is Salmonella typhi or it will be Staphylococcus aureus. Any one of the 2 organisms we have to inoculate, and we have to use it in our Riedel-Walker test or phenol coefficient test. Therefore, for an organism which has grown for 18 to 24 hours, we are adding 0.5 ml here. Shake it nicely, allow it to remain for a period of 30 seconds, then you shift to 0.5 ml from test tube number 1 to test tube number 2. Again you keep a gap of 30 seconds, shift from test tube number B to test tube number C. That is, at every interval of 30 seconds, you are shifting 0.5 ml from one test tube to the next. You carry out this process till you are reaching the last test tube, that is test tube number J. If you minutely observe, you will find that after reaching test tube number J, you discard 0.5 ml of the solution. Therefore, here there are 10 test tubes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So, from here you have taken you have spent 30 seconds, again from second to third 30 seconds, that is 1 minute, then 1 minute 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 minutes 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 3 minutes 30 seconds, 4 minutes, 4 minutes 30 seconds. So, the organism which you have added at point number 1 was in a position for a period of, whenever you are reaching this test tube number J, the microorganism which you have added in the first one has been in contact with the disinfectant for a period of 4 minutes 30 seconds. Why 4 minutes 30 seconds? Because you calculate the time from the instant where you have added in the first test tube. So, the organism has remained in contact with the disinfectant in this first test tube for a period of 4.5 seconds till the time you have reached the test tube number J and you are discarding 0.5 ml. Then you have to wait for a period of additional 30 seconds. A question may come up in your mind, why shall we wait for a period of 30 seconds again? Because your objective is you have to keep the microorganism in contact with the disinfectant of varying dilution for a period of 5 minutes. So, if you are waiting for a period of 30 seconds here, that means 30 करके जब यहाँ पर we are waiting for a period of 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, you transfer one loopful from this test tube A to test tube A dash. What is this lower segment test tubes containing? The lower segment test tubes are containing sterile nutrient broth. What is the function? The function is I will be testing whether the microorganisms are living after being exposed to the disinfectant over a period of 5 minutes. So, after you are discarding this 0.5 ml and waiting for a period of 30 seconds, then you transfer one loopful from test tube number A to test tube number A dash. Again after 30 seconds, you transfer from B to B dash. Whenever you are transferring from B to B dash, please see that the organism has resided, the organism was there in this test tube in that particular concentration of the disinfectant for a period of 5 minutes. That is, you apply the process for all the test tubes for after waiting for 30 seconds. That is, after you are transferring from here to here, your duration is 5 minutes. Whenever you are transferring from here to here, again your duration is 5 minutes. Whenever you are transferring from C to C dash, your duration is 5 minutes. From D to D dash, the duration is 5 minutes. That is, you are keeping the contact of the microorganism in contact with the varying dilution of disinfectant for a period of 5 minutes. That is, test tubes, the microorganisms for each and every test tube from A to J were in contact with varying dilution of disinfectant for a period of 5 minutes. Now, say for example, the microorganism is alive. Let us say, if the microorganism is alive, so whenever you are giving that microbes an opportunity to grow, that is, you are giving sterile nutrient broth. Whenever you are giving the microorganism an opportunity to grow, automatically they will multiply. That is, whenever you have shifted the microorganism from A to A dash, if it is alive, after an incubation period of 24 hours, the microorganism will grow, the nutrient media will turn turbid. Say for example, the microorganism has been killed. Say for example, the microorganism has been killed after a particular dilution of disinfectant. What will happen if the microorganisms are killed? So, whenever you are transferring from this test tube to this test tube, and if they are killed, so the organism cannot grow. So, when the organism is not growing, the sterile nutrient broth will remain clear. That is, after the process of incubation, the nutrient broth, if it is clear, it means that the microorganisms were all killed by that particular dilution of disinfectant, and that is the reason why not a single microbial cell has survived, and that is the reason why they have not grown. Here there is one point which all of us need to be very careful, that is sterile nutrient broth. Now, you have to sterilize the nutrient broth before you have to use. The reason behind this is, if the nutrient broth is unsterile, you will not be in a position to know that whether the turbidity has been due to the contamination present originally in the nutrient broth, or that is due to the organism which has been surviving at that particular dilution of disinfectant. So, you have to use sterile nutrient broth to all the test tubes which are marked as A dash, B dash, C dash, D dash, E dash, F dash, G dash and up to J dash. Then what you do is, in all these test tubes you mark with the help of a marker 5 minutes and the corresponding dilution of the disinfectant from where the organism had been transferred. That is, you say for example, in this test tube number A dash, you have to mention 5 minutes and the corresponding dilution which was there in this particular tube A. Similarly, in test tube B dash, you take the particular, write down the particular dilution and note down the time as 5 minutes. So, this is a series of 10 test tubes which will give you a picture, which will give you an idea whether the microorganisms were surviving with the particular concentration, with the particular dilution of disinfectant when they were in touch with 5 minutes. Next, you take another series of 20 test tubes, repeat the same process, each containing 5 ml of varying dilution of disinfectant, add 0.5 ml of an overnight grown culture in test tube number A, keep it for 30 seconds, then transfer to B, keep it for 30 seconds, then transfer to C, keep it for 30 seconds, follow at the end. So, like earlier, whenever you are discarding 0.5 ml, your time duration was 4.5 minutes. But in this particular set, you have to maintain a contact time of 10 minutes. That is, the disinfectant contact time with the microbes should be 10 minutes. Therefore, in the previous one, you waited for a period of 30 seconds. Here, you increase the contact duration from 30 seconds to 5 minutes 30 seconds. That is, after increasing the waiting time for 5 minutes 30 seconds, then you transfer from test tube number A to test tube number A dash. Again, this was another set of test tubes which were containing 5 ml of sterile nutrient broth. The reason for sterilizing this nutrient broth already I have told. That is, otherwise you will be confused whether the turbidity has been due to the presence of contamination or it is due to the presence of the surviving bacteria. That is the reason why we have to make this 5 ml distributed to each of the test tube marked as A dash, B dash, C dash, D dash, E dash and up to J dash. Then after waiting for a period of 5 minutes 30 seconds, so that you just transfer one loopful from A till A dash, so that whenever you are transferring from A to A dash, your contact time now is, in the earlier one it was 5 minutes, now your contact time has increased to 10 minutes. Similarly, again wait for a period of 30 seconds and transfer from here, that is test tube number B, to test tube number B dash. What is the time duration? Time duration for which the microorganism was in contact with the disinfectant of this particular dilution of this test tube was 10 minutes. Now you transfer from here to here and apply the same process till you are reaching the last test tube. So, here it is, contact time is 10 minutes. Next you adopt the same process, you adopt the exactly the same process, but here you increase after reaching the test tube number J. You in the first one was 30 seconds, in the next one it was 5 minutes 30 seconds, and this one you keep it for 10 minutes 30 seconds. That is, you are keeping the contact time, that is up to 15 minutes. That is, whenever you are transferring from A test tube to A dash, the microorganisms was in contact with the dilution of the disinfectant for a period of 15 minutes. Again, for 30 seconds wait, transfer from B to B dash. So, again the residual time was 15 minutes. So, this was the set which you have done for the this you have done for a period, this you have done for the disinfectant. Exactly do the same thing that for your phenol also, 5 minutes, 10 minutes and 15 minutes, exactly do the same for phenol. To a series of dilution of disinfectant being tested 5 ml per test tube, we add 0.5 ml of 24 hours broth culture of Staphylococcus aureus and S. typhi. At the same time, same amount has been added. All the test tube, disinfectant and organism as well as phenol plus organism were placed at 20 degrees Celsius water bath. At an interval of 5, 10 and 15 minutes, subculturing was done and it was finally inoculated at the inoculated test tube, that is containing the sterile nutrient broth. They were incubated for a period of 24 hours. Say 1:100, there was no growth in 5, 10 and 15 minutes. 1:125, there was growth in 5 but not in 10 and 15. In 1:150, there was growth in 5, no growth in 10 and 15. In 1:175, in disinfectant, there was growth in 5 and 10, not in 15. Here the Riedel-Walker coefficient suggests that you have to take the greatest dilution of disinfectant, killing the test microorganism in 10 minutes but not in 5 minutes. These two having the same result, but you have to take the greatest dilution. So, greatest dilution is 1:50. Similarly, you note down for phenol. In phenol, for 1:90 concentration in 5 minutes time contact, there was no growth in 5 but no growth in 10 as well as 15. But in 1:100, when it becomes more dilute, there was growth in 5 minutes, growth in 10 minutes as well as 15 minutes. So, in case of phenol, the concentration is 90. Therefore, the Riedel-Walker coefficient suggests that greatest dilution of the disinfectant, that is 150, and greatest dilution of phenol, that is 90. So, the Riedel-Walker coefficient is 1.6. So, the test microorganisms were killed at 10 minutes, 1:90 dilution, at the same time phenol coefficient become 1.6. So, if the value of phenol coefficient is more than 1, it indicates that the sample of the disinfectant is more effective than compared to phenol, and always you can use. So, disadvantage of phenol coefficient is no organic matter was included. As I have told you that the presence of organic matter adversely affect the effectivity of the disinfectant, short disinfection time, and the problem is whenever the disinfectant, say for example, there are two disinfectant, one killing in 6 minutes and other one is 9 minutes, both will have the same Riedel-Walker coefficient, but in actual reality the one which is killing in 6 minutes is obviously a better disinfectant. Again, we have taken testing over two organisms, S. aureus and S. typhi, but these two organisms are not only present, there may be other organisms too against which we have not tested the Riedel-Walker coefficient. In spite of these disadvantages which are present, still Riedel-Walker coefficient is very widely used in pharmaceutical industry, because it gives a very good qualitative accurate results to evaluate the quality of the disinfectant. Okay, thank you very much.